autism-friendly Christmas. You may not want to sit under the tree. They can go and take breaks. This is a serious one. You may not want to sit at the table. A huge one that if your family is not okay with these things. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Yes, I'm doing a lot of videos in December, so be sure to be subscribed down below. I'm really excited. I'm very excited for this year and equally as anxious. For the sake of being inclusive of all religions, I'm going to say the holiday season. So the holiday season is more commonly a tricky one for autistic people. We know this because we've experienced it with Jacob. It's a time where routines change. It's a time where you see more people that you don't really see very often. There's just a lot of sensory overload when it comes to the holidays, and there are different ways that families manage the holiday season to make it more inclusive of all people. Today, I'm going to be telling you guys my tips on how to have an autism-friendly Christmas. History has proven that Christmas hasn't been the most fun time for Jacob. In fact, when he exits his routine of school and goes on holidays, he doesn't like it. He's a routine boy. He loves being able to predict what's going to happen next. And Christmas just throws a spanner in the works. We've had Christmases of all different types to try and navigate what's best for Jacob. And we still haven't got there yet, but we have learnt a lot of things along the way. So I'm going to tell you guys my tips and tricks on how to help autistic kids and autistic people in general to have a good Christmas. Because that's the goal, isn't it? We all want to have a good Christmas. So, tip number one is to create a sensory retreat. So this may be in your home if you're hosting Christmas, or it may be in someone else's home if they are hosting Christmas there. You want to create a place that your child can go to that has no one else there and has all of their sensory comforts so that they can go away and regulate themselves, calm themselves down, get away from the sensory overload. And in actual fact, this may lengthen the time that they're able to stay at the party or the event because they have that retreat. They can go and take breaks from the event when they need it. And I've noticed that when we do this for Jacob, he lasts so much longer in someone else's house. So this would require a phone call or talking to the person before you go to the event and asking them if you can go and set up a little sensory area. This can be a bedroom, this can be a little tent in another room. I like to bring all of Jacob's comfort items, so his lycra sheets and his honey bears, and it might have his iPad, you know, just all of the sensory items that bring your child comfort. And this will be a place where no one else can enter, so they can escape to. Tip number two is a visual schedule or a social story of the day. I find it really helps Jacob to see where he's going first. So this requires some pre-planning and taking photos of the place that you're going to, or taking photos of the people that are going to be there or the food that's going to be had. It's really good for Jacob to see what's going to happen and where they're going and see the environment before they actually enter it, and it's a surprise to them. So we are having Christmas at our house this year, but I'm going to be taking photos of food and family members' faces and all of that just to prepare Jacob and do sort of like a social story of like, we're going to do this, have dinner, and then we're going to open presents, and then people are going to leave. So it's going to be dependent on what you do in your Christmas celebrations. Tip number three is to bring comfort items. So I kind of mentioned this before. I know a lot of you would do this. We all do it as parents, but it could mean maybe they can pack a backpack full of their comfort items, sensory toys, fidgets that they can play with and regulate themselves while they're at the party. This could be incredibly helpful for them. It brings them some kind of comfort and like a reminder of their things and their home whilst they're in a strange environment. Number four, this is a tip that not a lot of people know about, and I think that everyone should be doing it, even if you don't have neurodivergent children. This tip is to unbox and put batteries in and take packaging off all of the toys that you are wrapping up for your kids. There is nothing worse than your child opening up a present and getting really excited over it and just they're blocked by this big plastic packaging and hold on a second, I have to go get the scissors and let me go get the batteries and oh no, we don't have any batteries. Make sure you do it before you wrap the present and it'll make the day so much easier. In my experience with Jacob tends to only open one present and then just focus on the one present for a little while. So he does things differently. I've heard of kids doing this as well. You need to lower those expectations of opening presents all at once. That can just be quite overwhelming for a lot of kids. So when he does open that one present, he wants to play with it straight away. And you know, it can be quite frustrating because Jacob doesn't have a lot of patience with us when it comes to things that he likes. So that is a big tip that you guys should be doing. If you want to, I shouldn't say you should be doing it. If you want to do it, do it. And that goes along with the next tip. Tip number 5 is to hide the presents before the day. Obviously, all of us hide the presents that before the big day. But what I mean is, especially on the day or the day before, some people like to stack all the presents under the tree, waiting for the family members to arrive. Or if you're in someone else's house and they stack all the presents up under the tree, this can be the most enticing thing for a kid, and all kids anyway. So just hide the presents in another room, in a cupboard, somewhere away from the main area so that the kids don't have to constantly be yelled at to stop touching the presents. They might open someone else's present and then that ruins the surprise. So it just makes the environment a bit more calm when you just hide the presents away. Tip number 6, this is a huge one that we have learnt in the past. Christmas Day is not the day to introduce new foods. It's not the day to be like, hey, do you like this or do you like that, and forcing things on them. No, you are going to cook their safe foods, the foods that they enjoy. We all want to eat the food that we enjoy on Christmas Day. And if your child has a limited diet, cook the food that you know they're going to eat, because it's easier on you, they enjoy it, and it just makes the whole day a lot more peaceful. And introducing new foods and new smells and new tastes, sensory overload. Tip number 7 is to create a photo album. This can be a photo album of all of the members of the family that are arriving to your house or the ones that are going to be at the event. This can often help prepare your kids for seeing new people that they don't see very often. We just make a little flip book photo album of everyone's faces, and so he can get used to them and know that he's going to see those people on that day. Tip number 8 is a big one, and it's one that you should be doing and you should be getting the balls to do, even if you're scared, is to advocate for your child and to prepare family members. So this is going to be a phone call before the event, a text before the event, to make sure that your family knows how they can help your child to have a good day. This is just educating those people that are going to be at the event or party or wherever you're going, educating them about autism. What are your child's strengths? What are your child's challenges? And what are their sensory limitations? Definitely equipping them with strategies that they may be able to use. For Jacob, this would mean us telling family that when we arrive, please don't all jump on him and say hi at the same time. This would require one person going up to Jacob at a time and very slowly, and not being loud and not in his face. Prepare them for the breaking of tradition. So he may not want to sit under the tree and open his presents with his other cousins. He may not want to sit at the table and eat dinner with everyone else. In fact, I know Jacob will not do these things, and it's just preparing them for those types of expectations and just releasing them, because we all just want to have a good day, and in order for Jacob to have a good day, he needs everyone else to understand his own limitations as well as his strengths, and just making the holiday more inclusive to him. I know that this is a tricky topic because a lot of you contact me about troubles communicating with family and advocating for your child, but you just need to understand that In order for your child to have a good day, you need to advocate for them and set boundaries. If your family is not okay with these things, you need to prioritize your child over your family's needs. Yes, family is important, but your child, especially in these circumstances, is the main priority. So you're gonna have to grow some courage and you're gonna have to talk to them. And it may be upsetting for some, but it's worth it in the end. But we've had instances in the past where Jacob has looked like he's doing okay during the day, and we've set some boundaries, and family members have said, oh no, he's having a good time. Like, why do you need to do that? Family don't see the aftermath. And I hear this a lot with autistic kids, and that is that they're fine during the day or fine during the event, and then as soon as they get home, boom, like emotions run wild, sensory overload, all of the things. So focus on what makes your child happy. Tip number 9 is a pretty important one. This is a serious one. Take safety precautions for your child. So this is particularly when you are in someone else's house, but when you're in your own, it can happen as well. This means you may need to take some safety locks or some door alarms or something along with you. It tends to be the case that in overwhelming and overstimulating environments, kids like to wander off because they want to get away from that sensory stimulus. And it's proven its point in the past. Jacob has wandered off from a party because he just doesn't want to be around loud noise and all of those things. But you need to be careful because in parties and events like this, there are people coming in and out of the front door, down the side gate. There may be entries and exits that you don't know about. So this is part of that pre-event conversation with the host of the event, and just making sure we can take some safety measures to prevent your child from running away. This is a serious and a very common thing for autistic kids, so I need you guys to be careful and mindful of those things. Yes, of course, we are going to be watching our kids. We're going to be trying to keep our eye on them at all times. Things happen. You may take your eyes off them for 2 seconds, and that is as long as it takes for them to get out of there. It might mean telling the host, can we lock the front door? Can we lock the side gate? Or is there any other exits in this place? And it does happen. And I don't want to scare you guys, but I do want to warn you guys that it does happen. This is more so for Jacob, but I think it might help a lot of kids, is just when you're going to an event, or you're going to someone else's house, or they're coming to yours, make sure you do it in stages. So like, you might have an event with lots of people in the main living area. This might mean when you enter the person's home, they might want to hang out at the front room just for a little bit until they can get themselves used to the environment, and then they can enter slowly into seeing everyone. It can be quite an overwhelming experience to walk into a crowded room and everyone being like, hey, this may scare your child off completely. So might mean having them in a separate room and then having family members enter every so often just to get him used to that and saying hi, and then eventually entering the main room. They may never enter the main room, and that is okay. Tip number 11 is to have smaller and shorter gatherings. This is incredibly important, and you know, it is based on particular kids. Like, some kids may be okay to last the whole day or whatever, but a lot of people tell me that they are tending to have smaller gatherings of people and just seeing this set of people at this time and this set of people another day. It's not the time to have a huge house party, especially if your kids don't like the overwhelming experience of the sensory overload. Of course, go ahead if your child likes it and enjoys it and thrives off it, but it tends to be the case that smaller gatherings and shorter visits are what's best. Because again, as many of you know, it's not what happens at the party, it tends to be after the party that the feelings and emotions come out from the sensory overload. The last and final tip number 12, is to be flexible with your expectations. I almost wrote down on my pad that to lower your expectations, but I think flexible is a better word. let's be flexible with our expectations. We may have Christmas traditions, we may have holiday traditions, we may have certain things that happen in your family and routines that can't be broken, kind of thing. It's unachievable, especially with our kids who may be struggling to actually just be in the same room as everyone. So this may mean they may not sit down and open everyone's present and say thank you to everyone for that. It may mean that they don't open any presents at all, and that's okay. It may mean they don't get in the family photo, or they don't wear the matching outfits with the other kids. Like, it's not worth your child being in distress for these things to happen. Yeah, it's so nice to have a photo of all the grandkids together, or it's so nice to have photos of the family together. It's not worth it. If your child is not wanting to do it or experiencing anxiety in this environment, don't give them extra expectations and just loosen yours up, because you'll find, and I know I do, I'm like, oh, I need a Santa photo. Oh, I need the kids together in front of the tree. No, I'm not doing that this year. It may mean you just take some candid photos of your child. I get very heated about things like this. That's all my tips. I really do hope that you guys have a good holiday season, although it tends to be that it is a difficult one for a lot of families. We are getting very anxious about the holidays, especially when Jacob gets off school, because that's when his routine is out. So we're going to be taking all of these precautions, and I really hope that you take some as well for your child, based on your child. You know your child best. My biggest piece of advice would just be to prioritize your child's needs over other people, and make sure you have a happy Christmas, because that's what it's all about. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.